What's up YouTube? Today we're back again to another Rainbow Six Siege video, but this time I have a guide for you guys for the top 5 most underrated attackers in Rainbow Six Siege. So a common thing that I see as a Diamond 3 myself on console is that a lot of people don't know who to really pick for attacking. Like defending, yeah, there's some concrete options because some defenders bring really useful utility while others are clearly more shitty. But for attackers, it's more unclear because everybody brings their own unique thing to the table in order to play the objective. But I gathered a list of 5 of the operators that is highly debatable, I feel like, but in my opinion is underrated. Meaning that not much people play them, but they're pretty good. Alright guys, well I don't want to waste your time, so let's go. So at number 5, yes, I know this is probably a surprise, but we have Glaz. Now you might be asking, Lime, why is Glaz top 5 for the most underrated defenders? Well, Glaz is an underpicked operator, obviously. But I don't feel like he deserves to be underpicked. I mean, if we look at his loadout here, he has basically a semi-sniper type, which does 71 damage, and I didn't even actually know I had a fire rate. I usually single click. But it's basically a 2-shot gun, so this gun is really good. And then you have his bearing 9, which is one of the best SMGs in the game. So this is also really good to run. Not a lot of operators have the bearing 9. And then he brings good gadgets. He brings smoke grenades, frag grenades, and claymores. Which claymores could be good for hop outs if you're holding long angles with Glaz's sniper. His frag grenades could be good for clearing utility, or if you just want to use smoke grenades to make the best out of his utility. And if nobody else is bringing smoke grenades, then that's also fine to bring. But yeah, also Glaz's utility, his flip sight that allows him to see through smokes, it can actually be very helpful at times. Like for example, if you're trying to open breach and you're trying to get some free picks, then you could put your smoke down and catch people off guard. I mean, not a lot of people play Glaz, so the likelihood of the defenders expecting Glaz to be behind the smoke grenades is very unlikely, especially because nowadays like quick plants with smoke grenades are usually common, so they might think of that instead of like a Glaz. But yeah, he's also a 3-speed, so if you're usually like a gunner type, you don't really have to play Glaz in this like calm way. You could still play aggressive with Glaz. And I'd say Glaz is definitely good when you're trying to when you're in like big and long maps. Like I would say Canal, that's a really good map for Glaz in my opinion, because there's those long hallways that you could take advantage of, especially if you just throw out a random smoke grenade and use your Glaz to look through it. You could definitely catch people off guard so easily. And the only counter to Glaz I can really think of is obviously Jaeger and Wamai, but they're not getting used nowadays. Wamai got his 2.5 taken away, and Jaeger is not really used too much. And then Warden, which also got their 1.5 taken away and is a 3-speed, so not a lot of people play Warden. So you'd be surprised about the amount of picks you could get with Glaz. So yeah, I definitely think Glaz is in top 5 of the most underrated attackers. But yeah. Alright guys, now for number 4, we have Capitao. So this is another attacker that I barely see be played in ranked, let alone standards, arcades, anything. Capitao I never see. But if you really think about it, hypothetically, this is actually a pretty good operator. If you look at his utility here, he has the Para 308, which is a solid gun. If you put the extended barrel on it, it actually does 52 damage, which means it could 2-shot 3 speeds without rook armor. So that could be extremely good if you're not really good at hitting headshots and you're more of a body trooper. And I know, yes, it does have a low fire rate, but its damage more or less makes up for it, especially because its magazine is also high. And then for a secondary, he can actually have a Gone 6, which not a lot of attackers have nowadays. And Gone 6 would be definitely helpful for destroying that utility, like bulletproofs, deployable shields, and such. So having Gone 6 is definitely helpful. And then for his gadgets, he could bring hard breaches, which hard breaches is very versatile. You can get open walls, get open hatches, and it's really good for solo pushing if you really need to open that wall and make the play. As well as bringing claymores if you need to prevent hop outs, which claymores did get buffed this season, and they now instantly detonate when a defender hits them. Oh yeah, and he also brings impact EMPs, which is also really helpful for support if you need to help get the wall. And what makes Capitao definitely like stand out to me personally is his crossbow. Now, it's not really too practical because you have to get rid of your primary. You got to get rid of the weapon that you're holding in order to use the crossbow. But his smokes and his fire can be both is so versatile. It's actually unbelievable. You could prevent defenders from being in certain areas. You could close them off, so they're really good for like getting plants down. Maybe even holding flank if you know that the flank, if that defender is flank. And his smokes also are really good because you can cover off lines of sights. And also, there's a trick with Capitale you could do that if you use a smoke on a doorway, but like a little bit above, then it makes a one-way smoke that you can see them, but they can't see you. So that's a little bit Capitao tech for you. I mean, he's pretty good in my opinion and definitely underrated and fit for the top 4. Alright guys, for our third place, we have Grim. Now, I know Grim is used a lot in like professional play, but in ranked, I don't really see Grim used a lot, even though he's really good. I mean, the pros found that out, but I don't think we have. He has the the 552 Commando, which did get nerfed a couple of seasons ago, but it's still really strong. It has a moderate fire rate and does high damage, so it's not that it could do at its highest damage is 48, which is pretty good. And also has a high magazine. And then he also could bring the bailiff, which is very good for making rotates or lines of sight if you need to. And the gadgets that he bring, Impact, EMP, Claymore, and Hard Breaches, just like Capitao, they're all used for like support and they're really good for helping out the team. And then what makes Grim, in my opinion, like I would say A tier, is his Hive Launcher, which you could basically use just like Capitao to cover to take control of the map. It's actually really good for map control because as soon as you put those Grim Bees down, whether you you bounce it off the walls or you just throw it or else you just throw it in angles that defenders aren't peeking, but they can swing, then that's basically covering the defender's path. They can't go through the bees because as soon as you go through the bees, you get live pinged. And even after you get out of the bees, they still get pinged 5 times. So the risk of going through those bees are so high that no defenders are going to go through it. And they also last forever. Trust me, I would know. So Grim is definitely a good pick if you're looking for an attacker that you want to start maining. And I would put Grim higher on this list, but there are definitely still some Grim mains out there. I acknowledge you guys. So that's why he's only at number 3. Alright guys, for number 2, we have Iana. Now this might come as a surprise to you because a lot of people did used to use Iana, but they suddenly stopped using Iana after she got 2 nerfs. So one of the nerfs that she got was that they removed her frag grenades and then replaced them with stun grenades. And they gave her the Gone 6. This limited her frontline potential and made her use in a more supportive manner. And then the second nerf that she got was that they took away her stuns, so now she only has impact grenades and smoke grenades, which a lot of the gunners that use Iana definitely strived away from her. But I still say she's second place for the most underrated attackers because basically no one uses her, but she still has the potential to make plays and get kills. I mean, if you look at her guns here, whichever one you like, the ARX 200 or the G36C, they're both really good guns. This one's higher fire rate, higher mag. This one's higher damage and easier to control recoil. So both her guns are really good. And then having a Gone 6 is always good to have because you can destroy bulletproofs, destroy any like bulletproof utility. And an impact EMP can use to help get the wall. Or if you want to just frag out, then smoke grenades is good for covering lines of sight. And then her utility is also good because it's basically like another drone that recharges. And you can also make plays with other people. Like if you're duo stacking, you can use your Iana clone to basically be like a 6th player on your team. The only thing is that you can't shoot. But if your teammate is following your Iana clone, then you could get the trade off an Iana clone. Which actually sounds crazy, but it has happened before. So yeah, Iana, I believe, in my opinion, definitely still has potential. There's also a lot of Iana tricking you could do with her clone, to, like fake out the sound cue, catch defenders off guard, and she's very good for getting intel. What I would just say about her, though, is that I don't believe that she's a frontline. I feel like she's more of a support. I mean, you can still gun with Iana. I just feel like it's better to play her as a support than a frontline. But yeah, Iana's definitely underrated. You could definitely main her, and I don't think your team will have problems with that. neither will you trying to get Iana over other people. Alright guys, and number one, and my personal favorite, as you can see from the black ice and the elite skin, is Flores. Now, I don't know why people don't really play Flores. I do see from console pros that they start playing Flores, but overall, like, picks from Flores are for some reason very low, even though Flores is actually a really good operator and also underrated at the same time. If we just look at his loadout here, I mean, he has the AR-33. It's definitely a good gun. It has 41 damage and a moderate fire rate, so that's very good stats. And you have a decent pistol here, and then you also could bring stun grenades, which is very strong for fragging opportunities. So if you're just like a gunner and and you're finding a gunner op so you could get kills, I mean, you have stun grenades here, and you also have a pretty good gun. And also, what I like about Flores the most, obviously, is his RCE drone. Now, this drone, it's so versatile. That would be 10 times easier for me to show you guys in a custom, but I'm running short on time here, so I'm just gonna explain what you could do with Flores' drone. So basically, it could destroy any bulletproof utility, and you have not one, not two, not three, but four of these bad boys. You have four more drones in your pockets. They do last 10 seconds, but they can also destroy utility, which is really strong. And there's a bunch of tricks that you could do with these Flores drones. For example, if you put punch holes on the wall and then jump on the punch holes, you could literally explode the roof and therefore the defenders that are on second floor, which adds so much pressure. Or if you want, while you're on your Flores drone, you could just get off it and it'll just continue going in a straight line. So you can either use that to bait out defenders. They're gonna think you're on your Flores drone when it's going in a straight line, but instead you just swing them and kill them. Or you can use it as a fake out by putting a Flores drone at a place to breach, leaving it there, and then it'll go off in 10 seconds while you breach from another place and add that ghost pressure to that door in a timed manner. But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of Flores tech that you can search up on YouTube. I mean, there's so much you can learn from Flores. He has four of those bad boys. He also has badass elite skin, badass elite finish, and he's just good overall. 2 speed, 2 health. That's like perfect combination. And he's definitely good at doing his job of intel and anti-gadget. But yeah, enough of the Flores glaze here. That was my top 5 most underrated attackers. Let me know what you guys think about my list in the comments down below. I definitely think there's some cases that you could argue for, like me putting Glaz in Capitao. Those are definitely arguable. But yeah. So if you're looking for attacking main, you got the perfect list. I would definitely highly recommend Flores. I kind of want to see him rise to popularity because of this video. But yeah. Make sure you guys subscribe to support the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. And also like up the video to show it to other people that they can find this video too. And yeah, I'll see you in the next guide. Peace.